Okay, let's go.
Okay, wait. First of all, I just want to say a big hello and to everyone of my beloved, my teacher and the three ladies, very young ladies in our class, and welcome all to my presentation of writing task one about line and bar graph. We can have some contents here. The introduction, I will give you some brief information about line or bar graphs and their relation. The theory is how to write it properly and use some useful expressions. Analysis, I will give you some relevant examples to practice your knowledge, and exercise is some homework for your self-study. First, let's have a look about what is line in bar graph. What can you see in the graphs here? The graph below, blah, 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 blah. So please, Lynn, please. Tell me what is the graph about and what type of graph it is.
Who do you call Lin?
Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, I can see that the graph is about the technology that household in US city use for watching television from between 2 years 2004 and 2014.
And it gives information about blah, and what type of graph it is.
What type of graphs?
Yes.
Mm,
You
yes,
can see
graph.
four.
I can get the idea.
So you can see four lines here. So it is.
Line graph?
Yes, it is line
Like
graph exactly. So
okay.
it is line graph about the technology being used to watch TV in an American city between 2004 and 2014. So what is the idea of using the same information but presented it in bar charts? You can easily get this thing. So are they the same? Jennifer, please.
Jenny, do you think it's the same?
Jenny.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
Well, it's exactly the same because they have the same statistics, yes, and they are just some kind of transformation between the graphs, the line graph and the bar charts. But what if you see in this graph, what type of graph it is and what information it gives? Jung, please.
So this is the what? The bar chart.
Yes, it is a bar chart about.
Yeah. So about the holiday accommodation in British. Right?
Okay,
About
yes. It is exactly the bar chart about holiday accommodation, but do you have any ideas for transformation it into line graphs? Still Jung?
so based on the what statistic, like the figure, so we can transfer to the line graph because it exactly same, right?
No, actually not. We cannot transfer from this kind of bar chart into a line graph, and I'll show you why. So what makes a word of difference? We can easily say it is about the changes take time or not. About two types, line graphs and bar charts. Line graph, so throughout the recorded time, there are changes about figures. But bar charts, we have two types. Type 1 is another way to detail line presentable figures. So we can say a type 1 of bar chart and line graph are the same, but in other presentation and kind of form to detail it. But bar chart will have another type is type 2, and there were no time related changes during the recorded time. So remember, line graph so you can, whenever you see line, remember it is a line graph. And whenever you see bar charts, remember to divide it into two type and detect whether the type it is. It is type 1 when you have some line change, timeline, and about type 2 is no timeline, no time related changes. So the basic theory of the task I will give you after you detect the types. So Lin first, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so tell me, can you change this bar chart into line graph? So the answer is yes or no.
This bar chart into line graph.
Yes.
And I think it can be changed because it
Yes.
have the time related changes.
So how can we change?
How? I think that we can mention about the time because it's the difference between two kind of maps, two kind of graphs.
So I didn't get your point, but I think there's another possible thing. It is, remember the top points. You just need to gather them more and connect them, and you have a line here and a line here, and others are the same. Okay, so you can have 5 lines, and that's a line graph of 5 lines, correct?
Yes.
So what about this short index in the US in 2000? Can we?
Still need to answer the questions.
The question is, can you change? Yes. Can you
I think
transform?
no. It's no.
No, because there is no time related changes, right? Yes.
Yes.
And about this, what about this? Lin, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay. So can you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And then here,
Let me see. Um, that's difficult.
still yes
Maybe
or
I need
no?
help.
Can
I
you?
think, I think maybe,
Not maybe, it is
maybe,
just
yes,
give it. Yes, yes. The answer
yes,
is yes, because
yes.
from
Okay.
each series you can pick the 3 tops and then connect them, and you have a line. So you have a line for India, a line for China, a line for US, and a line for Japan. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's the end of your questions. And now we will look for some theory of the line graph. So I can suggest you a very interesting structure here. The first is the introduction. Second is overview. The third is a body 1 and body 2. And sometimes you can obviously have the body 3. And this depends on whether how many lines the graph has. Okay. So let's take a leg. So introduction, it is just, you just need to paraphrase the task. And I have a formula for you here. It is A plus B plus C. Easy, right? So A, it is the line graph shows the trend in blah, 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 or provides gifts or presents information about blah, blah, blah. we will stick to statistics about or details changes or trends in blah blah blah. After A, we have B is another paraphrase of the task. C is the time phrases to recommend the recorded time. You can use between and, from to, over a period of blah 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 years, or over a blah 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 year period. Remember, notes stars here with phrases having stars means these two we can add starting from the year or commencing from blah blah blah. So let's have an example for it. Look at this. This is the first graph of the technologies being used to watch TVs in the US. You can have a sample intro here. Oh, before I start, I just want to say something is it is all of the sample answers here is manufactured by myself, and so if there is any mistakes, you can raise a hand or just call me to correct it. And moreover, given I think that I can assume that all of you have a little information, basic information of using the phrases to depict the statistics. Yes, so I won't focus on how you write it is. I just mentioned the structure and how to write it probably in logically. Yes, and the sample here it is the line graphs gives information about changes technologies being used to watch televisions. Paraphrase, right? In an American city over a 10-year period commencing from 2002. Well, next, we would have an overview. Overview will go look for some common trends and special details. What is it? We still have a formula, A plus B plus C, and probably plus D. A, we can have overall, comma, looking from an overall perspective, comma. B, it would be, it is clearly or obvious that blah, blah, blah. It clearly, obviously shows blah, blah, blah. Remember, you can wipe B out if you don't like to be so long, right? So much, yes. And C, you will mention the first and the second trend, which is the common trend and the specific trend. I will show you how to write it later. Special status throughout the period. It is what it is can be a line that is always the highest or the line is always the lowest during the period of time. Some notes here is that in C, we can have a myriad of ways illustrating the trends. We can find the most common trend to write and then add some names of exceptions. Or we can even write about a trend. It means the first trend plus Y and plus the other trend. Y, and mean Y, it's all the same. Example, again with that graph before, we can have this sample here. It is overall the popularity of satellite and the internet improved between 2002 and 2014, while cable and broadcast underwent a downward trend during the same period. So next, we will move for the body parts. The body parts, each body part, you need to pick out a group of lines and elaborate and make comparisons where relevant. Here, I can have the body one for you, which I started with broadcast and cable. Broadcast is the line here, and cable it is the line here. Why I chose these two? Because you can see here, they all underwent a downward trend. You just need to compare the starting points and the ending points to have this conclusion. And I think it is easier to pick out something it is similar to each other. So you can use something is like likewise or meanwhile. It is more easier. And here is the second paragraph that I depicts statistics about satellite and the internet, which all increased. Yes, the internet and the what is this? Internet and the satellite. Yes. So I can have it for you. The satellite and the internet came in the third and fourth place in 2002 here, third and fourth place with approximately 70,000 and 10,000 users during the next period of 10 years. It is the whole period. Satellite figures showed a gradual increase, reaching nearly about 120,000 households, and likewise the internet applicants shows rose sharply to nearly 200,000. So overall, when we combine all of them, you just need to combine the intro and the overall into a paragraph. It is the paragraph one, paragraph two is body one, and paragraph three is the body two. It is so easy, right? So about the bar chart one theory, as I have mentioned, bar chart one theory is just the same, but in another form of line graph. So you can use the same structure. Instead of one thing, you need to notice about introduction. It is the A, it is no more line graph, but it is the bar chart. The bar chart shows trend in, provides, gives, present information about, and blah, 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 so on. So the thing I need to mention here, it is about the bar chart 2 theory, which doesn't have any time related changes over the period of time. We still can use the same structure, but the way we do is not exactly the same. So I will show you how to divide the statistics and some examples. Firstly, how to divide. So as you can see here, there are, first of all, I just want to clarify some definitions. It is about under 6 to 11 and blah blah blah. This and male and female here, we call it the category. Yes. So we can have two type of division. The first is vertical. What does it mean? It means that you pick one series out and then compare the categories of them. So you can say under 6 year old, in terms of under 6 children, the boys consumed much more salts than the girls, and then keep going for each categories and series. But so if you do so, you will need to depict 6 series. Why? You can have another wiser way to do it is horizontal. You compare each category between series. So you can have a line here about male short intakes and a line here. So you just need to have 2 paragraphs to combine and to compare the needed information. It is much more easier to compare 6 series, right? It is obvious. So take examples of it. You can use the intro is the bar chart depicts the amount of salt consumed by the Americans belonging to different genders and age groups in blah blah blah. In 2000 overview, we can use this overall with the exception for up to 6 children, which means these one, and over 60 women is those here. All American used more salt than needs here. Furthermore, women's salt intake never exceeded that for men during the surveyed year. You can use only one. You just need to use only one sentence to depict uh, the comparison of salt intake between male and females, and it is the furthermore blah 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 here. So the body one we can in terms of man consumption, it is about the blue lines here. So in terms of man consumption, the highest amount was for 20 to 39-year-olds, which accounted for 4.5 grams per day, which was distantly followed by teenagers, and the middle-aged men, both of whom consumed exactly 4 grams a day. The next highest figures were for 6 to 11-year old boys and men aged over 60 here, with the same intakes of 3.5 grams per day. Meanwhile, the lowest salt intake belongs to the under 6 children, the only male group consuming less than adults recommended intake. It is the line here, the red line here. So the body too, we will just turning to the women's salt intakes and say there's the same consumption here, and then one here and then one here. Yes, it is so easy. The word count for this is 195, which is exactly perfect for me because for this task you need to write at least 150 words, so 195 is just perfect. So we can have the samples depicts about the type of the graph and tell me what information it gives. Jennifer. Jenny.
I'm here.
Okay. What type?
I think it's the bar chart.
The bar chart. So the bar chart type 1 or type 2?
Sorry.
We can see a timeline here, so it is type 1 or type 2. Type 1 is the thing that you can convert it into the line graph. So it is type 1 exactly. I just can say it to you like that. Sorry. And this bar chart gives information about the fiction book sales, which are divided into 5 categories: young adults, classics, mystery, romance, sci-fi, fantastic. So, do you have any ideas to divide them? Jung, please divide the categories.
So I will divide in horizontal way as you described. That
Yes.
by each section, like
Yes.
from young adult, then continue to other like classic or mystery or romance or something like that.
Yes. So, but you can horizontal, but uh, how will you divide them into smaller groups? You obviously just need to have two groups exactly to depict here the information, or you can use three. It is okay too, but two it is much better because it consumes you less time to write. So how will you divide it? Divide the 5 categories into 2 groups. How can you?
So we have the red and blue. What red, blue? Mystery and romance have
Red and blue.
Mystery and romance, right? It have the what
Mystery and
the
romance, yes.
significant difference compared to other. So that I will group these two into one small group, and the other will be another group to compare.
Yes, exactly. Because you can see it is in the same increase or downtrend. They are both increase or decrease the same period of year. So I remember to compare the starting point and the ending point. So for the green or romance, it is a slight increase. The red, it is a slight decrease. Blue, it is a slight decrease too. Yellow, it is a slight decrease, and the brown, it is a slight decrease too. And this decrease trend, you can see it as use it in the overview, because you can say it is about overall all kinds of bookshelves underwent a slight decrease, uh, with the exception for romance, which showed a slight increase instead. So it is just an easy samples here. Homework for you is read, review, and write. Write. It is about my 3 homeworks. It is number 1 is the annual carbon emissions by region around the world. So this is obviously a line graph, and it is so easy for such an advanced students like you. Remember to do it. Number 2, that is the bar chart 1, and number 3, it is here, the bar chart 2. So remember to write, and thank you for listening. It's time for your questions now.
Please give me time to take the